Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the Cape Town Sevens. Last week there was plenty of action packed into Dubai, and now it's back-to-back weeks on the Sevens circuit. This game, Argentina taking on the Australians, the champions of last year in terms of the points table, up against the runner-ups from last week's comp. And the Australians were looking through at the starting lineup. For the Aussies, it will be Henry Hutchinson, Aiden Akaniake, Jaden Blake, Wallace Charlie, who was very impressive for the Dubai Sevens, just like last week. Josh Turner, James McGregor, and Dietrich Roach, the last man. In the starting side for the Argentinians, it is Mateo Graziano, Santiago Alvarez, Juan Patricio Batak, Santiago Mari, Luciano Gonzalez, Pedro De Hero, and also Marcos Moneda. So quite a few changes compared to what we saw last week for Los Pumas, but they had to change something. It didn't quite go the way that they had planned. Definitely not their best competition. In fact, the Argentinians finishing dead last, something that we hardly ever saw throughout last season. But we are getting ready to go. The Cape Town Sevens, the Aussies kicking from left to right, and we are underway for this contest. We have got Wild Lobsters here, and also we have got Nov Mum as well. Hope you guys are both doing well, and hope you're excited. The action-packed schedule that is going to be happening for the Cape Town Sevens, but a low tackle made. At least it should have been made on De Haro, but he manages to break his way through, going off to the left-hand side for Los Pumas. Now, they do need an outstanding start here in this competition, because if you lose your opening contest, you're forever playing catch-up. And it's the last thing that Argentina want, but the Aussies, they want to book themselves a spot through to the final. Kiwis were able to win that one relatively convincingly. Now off to the left-hand side, still in the hands of the Argentinians. Moving it to the left. Chance here for Luciano Gonzalez, cutting back inwards, but tackled by Dietrich Roach. Only sitting 22 metres out from the line for the Pumas. And now that moves to 10 metres out from the run of Alvarez. It's a very good start to the match for Argentina, but they have to finish it off, get themselves some form of points on the board. But Tuck is going to be dragged down. Now pick and go from Graziano, trying to bump off low tackle. It's going to be an advantage going the way of Argentina. That ball's going to be dropped, but they will go back for the initial advantage. Hey, yo, Hamish, says Ruby, welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. And we'll be with you all weekend, Hamish, or all the way, Hamish. How was your week, says Wild Lobster? It's been relatively hectic. Even though international rugby has finished, you would think that that would make it slightly less busy, but been kind of busy in a different way. But it hasn't been too bad overall, although I have been thoroughly looking forward to the Sevens taking place. Go Argentina. I love you from South Africa, says Etanet there. And also the Los Pumas Sevens, says Eduardo. And then Two Hey Bro says MPT. Oh, that's a knee right to the side of the head of one of the Argentinian players. In fact, it may have been the thigh, but he is still down. There we go. That's a stat and a half. Argentina have never lost to Australia and Cape Town, but they are coming into this competition with some of their, I don't want to say worst form that they've had, but certainly hasn't been their best little run here, the Pumas. They did finish dead last in the Dubai Sevens, having a total of, I believe it was 3 or 4 losses throughout that competition. And I Hamish says, pleasant teas, welcome in. And how was your born day? It was okay overall. A little bit hectic as well. Plans didn't quite work out, but they kind of did as well outside of what we were going to do. Once again, sounds very cryptic. Inside the stadium, the wind is blowing a lot, says Hano, so perhaps we could see that used to the advantage of certain sides when it comes to kickoffs. Now, I will mention there's been a little bit of a delay in this game purely because of that head knock, but Argentina ready to feed this ball in. Get it ready to go. Going to be available off the back. Nice pass to the right-hand side. This should be the first points of the game, and it is Santiago Mari, the captain, managing to score it for Argentina, and they will take the lead and get themselves now into a good position in this contest. We will go like that, and we will go like this. Once again, we are on the automatic, or manual scoreboard, I should say. So it's going to make the score not quite 6-0. We'll try that again. We'll get the right button. There we go. 5-0 at the moment for Argentina. Happy champ, says Ruby there. And Pumas scoring first. They certainly have. That one's missed away to the side, but after the first 2 minutes of this contest, it's been mostly Argentina with the ball in hand. I don't think I can almost think of a phase that Australia have had in this contest so far. It has just been Argentina. Now kicking this one off. Nicely going up for it was Kanayaki, but it does go into touch. It does mean that Argentina will get themselves another scrum opportunity. Try, says Wild. I actually didn't commentate on the game yesterday, which Stormers won in France. I did see they got themselves the big win. I was coaching junior cricket, so that is why we are away for those Saturday morning fixtures. We have got Buller Hamish. Welcome in, Antonio. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're excited to see the Fijians in action. Their first contest just around the corner. They are going head-to-head up against South Africa, so that is going to be an absolutely huge one to play the hosts in Cape Town. Did they win at junior cricket? They did. So it was a playoff game, but we weren't told what type of playoff because I think everyone was still playing in the playoff stages, but we're at least through to whatever next round there is. So that is a big bonus. Here comes Luciano Gonzalez off to the right-hand side. A little bit too much on that one to go out to Marcos Moneta, but he has regathered near the touchline, cutting back around Henry Hutchinson. Now another offload coming to the left-hand side. Santiago Mari, he'll be waiting for this one on the outside. Gonzalez with the offload now. Graziano cutting back inwards. Missed tackle from Australia. Something that they cannot afford to do, but that was also something the Pumas couldn't afford. Trying to go for the offload, too risky. And Australia managed to take that ball back. Now Josh Turner going to the right-hand side. Australia begging the referee for an offside penalty there, but AJ Jacobs says no, and in fact the penalty goes the other way in favour of the Pumas, and Josh Turner is not happy one bit. He is yelling at the ref. He is yelling at the touch judge, asking anyone who will listen to give the Australians the penalty. We have got their Stormers before cricket. Please remember, anything that is Saturday morning in the near future will be going straight to junior cricket. So if the Stormers want to be covered on the channel, they're just got to play at a different time, don't they? I just watched the highlight. It was a good game. Says please and tease. And yelling at the ref usually doesn't go well. Yeah, I think a lot of players have learnt that in the past, and I assume that Josh Turner is going to be one of them. And can be inspired by New Zealand's double sevens victory. Says Big Rig. Now ready to throw it in. It will be once again Daharo. Nicely taken. And that one's going to be not straight from the Argentinians. And Jason Ewart Saturday morning in Europe right now. So yeah, probably some junior cricket. Or is it cricket season for juniors at the moment? I feel like it's the off season in the UK, isn't it? We'll add that up to 6 minutes gone. There we go. And Australia's defence conceded the joint fewest tries of any team last weekend. Now we have got there, sounds like there's been a stir in South Africa batting lineup lately. I may just start watching again. Says Ruby. Yeah, West Indies doing extremely well on New Zealand soil as well. There's been a bit of action in the Ashes for the first 2 days. That one's going to be dropped by Australia. It's gone backwards, then knocked on. Okay, and then Josh Turner, he's just straight back in the ref's face. He's got to be very careful here. You can see already there is a huge amount of frustration from this Australian side. Obviously felt like they wanted to do a lot better in that final. At the same time, that also sounds super British. Says Big Rig Joe. You see it there. Dietrich Roach tackled by Santiago Mari. Just ended up leaving his footing. Yeah, they were asking the question of whether or not that ball was out of the breakdown. Even the Aussie commentator there was saying that Josh Turner needs to maybe settle down a little bit. Penalty goes the way of Argentina. 50 seconds remaining in this first half. Now comes the decision. What to do from here. It looks like the quick tap option is the one that they will go with. Santiago Mari goes with a kick him behind. Marcos Moneta, pure pace. And he has potentially scored there. They will have to check it. There is no celebration from Moneta, but I think that was because of how hard he slammed his knee on the ground. We have got there when Hamish sounds British. You've had too much. Says Ruby. AJ Jacobs going to go upstairs to his TMO here to see the grounding or the lack thereof. Oh, he certainly doesn't have as much control over that ball as you would normally see from Moneta, but he has still got the grounding, and it is still going to be the try for Los Pumas. They have started this match in very good fashion, getting themselves 2 tries early. Now give them the 10-point lead. It's the last thing that you want if you are Australia. And just using up that stop clock rest of the time. 5 seconds before we reach half time. This first contest of the day for these two sides. Of course, energy is going to be important to still have later on in the day. You got 3 matches back to back. Now Luciano Gonzalez strikes that one relatively clean, and it does go over, so that is going to make the score now half time in this contest. 12 points to 0. in favour of Argentina. But any lead in a game of sevens never quite feels like enough. So it's a good start from the eighth ranked side, but I think they need a couple more tries. Definitely with that missed kick, because we saw plenty of them throughout Dubai, and some of them actually determined who won matches. Australia, if they get off to a quick fire start in the second 7 minutes, find themselves in a very good place. But do let me know, ladies and gents, of all of the games today on the Sevens circuit, which one are you looking forward to the most? There is South Africa versus New Zealand. There's South Africa versus Fiji just around the corner. Going to get to see some other intriguing matches. Great Britain going head-to-head with the Kiwis in just about 15 or so minutes' time. Going to be covering that one on the channel too. Argie's running away with this. Says Ruby Tuesday. Yeah, they're firmly in control at the moment, the Argentines, which is great news for Los Pumas. But once again, from what we saw last week, we have to wait till the full time before we find out exactly who takes out a win. Argentina, they were actually leading, I believe, by a similar margin up against Fiji last week. Men's pool A, pool of death. Yeah, there's one stacked pool in this grouping. I think that any side or any grouping that has New Zealand, Fiji, and South Africa are in it, certainly consider just that, who won between France and Spain. So in the end, the French got themselves the victory, but Spain got the bonus point for being within 7. They did lose that game by 5. But definitely one that the Spanish would have liked to pick up the victory in. Definitely in the group that I think will have the most moving parts throughout this competition. Karma for being 21-0 down against Scotland and still winning. Says Big Rig. We have got there good. Down or don't down to me Aussies, I assume that is from Bruce. And also we have got there Hoy H says One Beer Bosch. Welcome in, hope you're doing extremely well. It has kicked off for the second half. Now, loose ball. Grub it 4 from Argentina, but Ben Dowling jumps on it just at the right time, but it will be the penalty for playing the ball on the ground against Ben Dowling. That one did seem a little bit harsh, to be fair, as he did jump on that loose ball. And good, don't like the Aussies. Says Bruce, and also Paul A. Men's and women's almost the same. Says Jasmine, yeah, it's actually quite interesting the way that it's worked out. And to be fair, with the victors, that's a great short ball to Luciano Gonzalez, puts it down. And that is a third try of this contest to Argentina. And in such a shortened group, with winner stays on mentality, the Pumas have come to play in this comp. But yeah, it's quite an interesting one in terms of the way that the group stage matches at the moment, with the exception of Fijiana, it seems like we're going to get to see maybe the same semi-finals as we did get to see last week. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case on the men's side. Definitely with the Australians now sitting down by the 19, their points differential will be getting absolutely destroyed here, and they will have to beat France as well as Spain by big margins to be able to move through to the next stage. But Luciano Gonzalez, he sits 161 tries for all-time tries for the Argentines, same as Marcos Moneta, funny enough. So those two are now in a completely stalemate in terms of who gets themselves closer to the all-time try scorer. Now off though from the Australians, Ben Dowling, going off to the left-hand side, can't quite get through. This Argentinian defence already looking a lot stronger than we saw last week, up against the French, conceding around those 50 points. Now running it from the back was Jaden Blake. Ball stolen in the breakdown from the Argentinians. Henry Hutchison, great one-on-one tackle with Luciano Gonzalez. I won't be surprised if New Zealand throws the opening game not to meet the box in the quarter-final. I won't blame them, says Ruby, although to be fair, they have to play England if they throw that game, so either way you're still going through, and you've still got a tough game just around the corner. But Graziano does beautifully to be able to score that one again for Argentina. They move up to 24 points on the board now. This is more like the Pumas that we saw last year, and actually earlier in this year as well. Dubai, they had a rare week where they just weren't quite gelling, but obviously whatever they've done in the prep for this competition has been absolutely huge. What happened in the English woman, or the woman English, says please and tea. So in that contest, New Zealand were able to beat Great Britain 38-10. That kick has gone over. We'll update that one. We'll also make sure that we update the time, as there are only going to be about 4 minutes remaining here in one of the more one-sided games that hopefully we are going to see in this competition. It is actually 26 points to 0 now. And Argentina dishing out a bit of the, tell you what, it would be bad if it got to that score, but 26 at the moment. Missed tackles 8 from Australia. This is a mugging. And good afternoon, Hamish. How you doing? Says Philip there. So yeah, I hope you are doing well, Phil. And good afternoon, everyone. I was expecting this one to be close. I was too. I thought it was going to be a bit of a 50-50 contest. Definitely with the fact that Australia made it through to the final. But, it's another penalty going the way of the Argentinians. Now they have another opportunity to get something going. We have got there's a question. What's the highest scoring Sevens game? Says Big Rig. I know certain sides, I want to say about that 70-0 has been close before. Normally, if that underdog side can get a try or two, it does help in terms of the highest scoring one. Now going off to the left-hand side, Luciano Gonzalez dragged down 10 metres out from the Australian line once more. Now offloaded Marcos Moneta going sideways, wrestled down low by McGregor. Now Hutchison trying to tackle his opposite number, Graziano. Now on the outside, left hand for the Pumas, getting it now to Luciano Gonzalez. He goes through again, scores another try. And just like that, they find themselves in the 30s, the Argentines. It's going to be 31 once again, not that score quite yet. 31-0. And ref hammering Oz. Can't get out of their own quarter, says Studs Race. And they've hardly had possession. I think they've missed 8 tackles, or that would have made it now probably about 10. We saw a couple missed on the build-up, but probably 20% possession, if they're lucky. And we have got there, I knew the Argies would win, says Bruce in there. And also we have got there, Wallabies should have stayed at home today, says Big Rig. And there's alt time is now turned off. And what games are you covering today, says one. So we have got, I believe it's another 6 games of the Sevens. And then in terms of rugby union, we are going to be covering the match between the Bulls and Bordeaux. So that is our lone rugby union match today, and the rest is all going to be Sevens. Just because the Sevens only comes around every once in a while. Champions Cup, you could argue, does as well, but we're going to be covering that Cape Town Sevens. Now, ready to kick off again. Our Argentina, they are on an absolute roll. 31-0 at the moment. Oh, okay, they were in front of the kicker there, the Pumas, going a little bit too early. No URC this round. It is Champions Cup and Challenge Cup taking place at the moment, but the URC not back for another 14 days. Now off to the right-hand side. Oh, nice step coming from Australia, popping it on the inside, but that is going to be a knock-on, so it goes from bad to worse for the Aussie Sevens. Now the advantage is going to be floating it over the top. Now Grubber down the wing, but it goes into touch. Our boys up next, says Jordan there. Yeah, some very crucial matches in this first round of the Sevens competition, because if you lose from the get-go, you're in quite a bit of trouble. We did see it for the likes of France in the last competition. They lost that first opening contest to the South Africans, and then from there they never quite recovered in the whole competition. In the end, found themselves playing off for the 7th. That's brutal. No USC half for December, but it is because of the Champions Cup. So the sides, they are fully aware that they are playing now European Champions Cup rugby. So it's 2 weeks of that and then back to the URC. So every side that was going to be playing in the URC, I believe, is still in action throughout the next 2 weeks. But now going down the wing, there's going to be a chance. Huge pin there. Oh, it's an ugly landing. I'd like to think that it wasn't on purpose from William Cartwright, but the way that he landed on the Argentinian player who was out of the field of play did look a little bit ugly, but they are going to be going upstairs to see whether or not this is going to be the try. This would be absolutely incredible if he's grounded it, but I think the knee is down just into touch first for Dubuck. And Pumas want to shove a donut down some Aussies' throats. Says Big Rig, they are just showing it from another angle. It does look like the knee goes down first, as well as that knee, so it is going to be no try. AJ Jakobsen actually giving a little bit of praise to his touch judge there, who must have initially said that he felt like it was in touch. AJ Jakobsen saying, great call. That's something you don't see too often, a little bit of praise from referee to referee, but now ball's going to be thrown in. Loose ball picked up by Graziano. That will be the try, though, to Argentina. And again, it's just another mistake from the Australians. This becomes 36-0 now. And geez, Australia playing up to S. Says Pleasant Tees. And I guess it just shows you the unpredictability in the world of sevens. Like, they were runner-ups last week. They had some great wins, and now you come into this contest. They find themselves down by 36. Always wonder why Sevens didn't take off as much as T20 did. Maybe this is a game, says Ruby. I think it's the Sevens back in the day used to be absolutely huge. Like, you could see the atmosphere was incredible in the stadiums. As they started dropping off teams and as we started progressing towards, I guess, 2025, it slowly was on the decline. Like, Cape Town, like back in the old school days, it would have been sold out. In this case, there are still quite a few empty seats. Some decent crowd, though, for this contest. 20 seconds remaining in this matchup. Another penalty to Argentina. Australia just haven't been able to put together more than 2 phases throughout this one. Which performance is worse than this one or ours last week? Definitely the Pumas last week. They conceded over 50 points in that game. Don't get me wrong, 36-0's a pretty decent-looking scoreline. But, yeah, it's definitely the redemption that Argentina certainly wanted. But what we are going to do is going back over to that next live stream, and it's going to be Great Britain versus New Zealand. I will see you all in a very short moment.